Hello, Taurus. Thank you for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Valima Tarot by Renata Lechner. For the supportive oracle cards, the magical spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. I already shuffled. Let's see what we got. Okay, I'm getting kind of like a backtrack feel here already. Face down. Alright, there's kind of a backtrack feel here, and I feel like there's things going on around you that you're not going to really see clearly until the situation has moved into its next phase. I feel like it's one of those retrospects where you're getting a little bit more information after the fact, and you're like, oh, that's why that happened. It's one of those things. Like, oh, that's what was going on. Because I feel like during the situation, you're not understanding why things are not adding up like they feel like they should be. But after you go into the next phase, and you're getting more information, and you're looking back, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess in retrospect that does make sense. At the time it didn't, but looking back, yeah, it does make sense. Because currently where you're at is the five of swords. Things seem to be working. Things seem to be working. Like things are working. I feel like it's an old vehicle. Like it's like I'm dealing with an old vehicle, and it gets you from A to B. It serves its purpose, but it's not like you're enjoying it. It's a fruitless. This is the Five of Swords is the fruitless victory card. That's especially in this deck. It very much feels like that to me. The fruitless victory, like it's serving its purpose. It's working. Are you enjoying it? Nah, not really. But nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. But things are working. Things are working out, and it's kind of like, I guess because things are working, it's fine. Like you're questioning it, like, I guess it's okay because it's working, even though I'm not really enjoying this. Face down, you have divine guidance. This moment is purposeful. And I feel like we're going to understand that more when we get to the end. Because you got the divine guidance coming in here face down saying you're not seeing it. To you, it just seems like it's pointless. It's working, but like, why? And to you it seems pointless, but divine guidance is saying everything is right as it should be. It's setting something up for the future. And I feel like this is another reason we're coming to that information. Like when it goes into the next phase, you can look back and be like, all right, that did kind of serve a purpose. Okay. Because when you start tripping into the next phase, you've gained a lot of information, it seems like, a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of the Ten of Wands with the Magician is like it's a little stressful for you. It's a lot stressful for you because I feel like you're changing gears. It's almost like, if we're going to use the car analogy again, you're switching vehicles. The last one you just weren't happy with. You're going for something that you want that makes you happier, that has more amenities or something that you like. Let's put it that way. It costs you more. You have to do a little bit more for the upkeep and to make sure you can keep it going, but you enjoy it more. And there's a lot of stress with that. And you got the Magician where you're creating it. Again, if we're going to use the car analogy, you're going from a car that gets you from A to B that you don't really like, but it does the job, and you're getting a nice car with like a nice radio, some other bells and whistles that you enjoy. It looks nice. You're happy to drive it. It feels nice. It costs you more. You have to like work a little harder to keep it, but you enjoy it a lot more. And there's stress here. The Ten of Wands is telling me the situation is going into a more stressful state, but you're enjoying it a lot more, and you're creating that. And the knowledge here is saying you went through it for so long, and it served the last phase served its purpose, but it just didn't bring the joy. So you're changing it. It's bringing more stress, but it's also bringing a lot more joy. Okay, now this is where we're looking at the past. Whatever the situation was, I'm getting whatever you were dealing with, the last phase before it came to its end was not as engaged as you were. The other side, which it feels like a person, to be honest, they were emotionally distant. They were emotionally disconnected. Emotionally disconnected. And I'm getting the psychic protection with the Aphrodite's love spell. They were afraid to get close to you. But why? Were they going? No, I don't feel like there was a challenger here. I'm getting that they were closing off their emotions. They were emotionally, like, when I'm getting the Six of Swords, I feel like emotionally they were just disconnected. I feel like this is emotionally disconnected. They were protecting themselves. They had a lot of love there, but they didn't have the confidence to go with it. Now, I realize this doesn't have to be a love situation. This definitely can be other arenas. Whatever it was you were dealing with, though, if it was, for example, a work situation, people were not investing in you. People were not investing in you. So if it was a work situation, for example, and it was a job that you didn't really like, but it was paying the bills, let's put it that way, one of the reasons you didn't really like it is because whoever you were working with, whatever the element was here, there was no emotional investment. People were not investing in you. And I'm getting that people were protecting themselves, feeling like they didn't want you to see them for who they were. They felt like you were very good and dependable, but that they just couldn't keep up with that. And they didn't want you to know how unstable the situation really was. But they did very much appreciate you and like you there, but they were not sharing that. They were not investing in you. Because of that, the situation, how you related to it, how the situation related to you, whatever it was, I know we're doing two different lines here, it was the Eight of Swords. Like, each side stayed committed to it, feeling like this is the best that could happen, but out of fear, you didn't move on at the time. That's what I'm getting. It served its purpose, and you're just like, it's serving the purpose. I don't feel like I should move on. I should just feel like I should accept it and just go with it. The other side felt like things are okay, but if they let you know how unstable the situation is, that you wouldn't stay. So out of fear, they did not want to invest in you because they figured it was just a matter of time before you figured this out. They didn't think you were going to stay based on the instability of the situation. That seems to be more the work way. The love is very similar, though. Like, they had problems. This person had problems they didn't want you to know about. And they were hiding them from you. And they felt like once you found that out, you would walk away. Because of that, they felt like they couldn't tell you. The situation did come to its end, is what I'm getting. This is like when the next phase comes in, because I feel like this situation is not going to survive. Because you're feeling like it's just a fruitless win. It's a fruitless victory. It's surviving, but you're not happy. The other side is not emotionally connecting. Whether it be love, work, whatever, the other side is not investing in you. They're not telling you things that you need to know. There's nothing for you to invest in because they're not contributing. That's why, because they're not contributing, that's why you feel like it's just, you're not happy. People are not investing in you. If they're not investing in you, you can't invest back. That's why you're not happy. I feel like that's the big thing why you're not happy. This is retrospect, I get that. And I feel like when you get to this next phase moving forward, you realize, if this is love, work, whatever it was, they were not investing in you. And you're realizing in retrospect, because they were not investing in you, you were not happy. You're a person to be invested in. If you feel invested in, and you can return, reciprocate that, you're happy. That makes you happy. If there's something to build towards, something to cultivate, it would have been different. You were not getting that from the other side. You were not happy. You felt like you just were kind of going through a routine, like you should just be happy with what it was at the time, but it only lasted so long and you had to move on because you weren't happy. But I feel like in retrospect, you're realizing the other side was not investing in you. That's why you moved on. That's why it just never felt right. Even though things were good, you're never happy because you were not being invested in. I'm getting the next situation coming forward. While there's more stress going on with this, but you're also a lot happier, I'm getting this other situation is emotionally investing in you. You got the good cheer with the Queen of Cups. This is not somebody who's coming forth with this emotional attachment right off the bat. The Queen is very controlled, in my opinion, where she's very nice. She shows you she appreciates you, but she doesn't put all her eggs in one basket. Like, she slowly lets somebody into her heart. She shows you how much you mean to her. As she gains more confidence and trust in the relationship she has with you, you get more from her. And she reciprocates, especially when you show how much you value her, she reciprocates that just as much. And this is somebody who very much looks out for the people that she values. And I'm getting the good cheer with the Queen of Cups is like she's very nice and very easy to deal with, especially at the get-go. And it just gets better. The more you get to know her, the better it goes. I'm also getting the Temperance card connected with the same piece in the sense of like this is going to be a relationship that builds. This is more stress for you. This is more commitment, more going on here, but you're also a lot happier with it because this person is investing in you. Be it love, even if it be at work, like the next job situation you get involved in, the people or the person, there's at least one person. This doesn't have to be constrained, no, can't get the right word out there. This doesn't have to be confined to a gender. But you're being invested in. You're being appreciated. And because you're being invested in and appreciated, you're making sure that you show how much you value that, and you're building your side to show, the value and appreciation you're getting is well warranted. Now, it's going over some time, and I get that this is building deeper and deeper over time. The only thing I'm seeing here that might be a concern for you is the Queen of Swords showing up between you and this other side. The level of commitment may get a little bit intense. And I'm getting the Queen of Swords is like there's going to be a point where you have to draw the line about how far things can go. And even if whether this is love, work, or something else, whatever it is, there's going to be a point where you have to draw a line and you have to make a boundary. If you don't, it's gonna get out of control, and you might end up on the opposite side of the coin where it's just you're too dependent on. It's just too much. Too much is being asked from you. You're being dependent on too much, and it's just making you unhappy for a different reason. They're saying there's going to be a point where you're going to have to draw a line, and you're going to have to make a boundary about how far this is allowed to go, even if it's love, because if you get too dependent on, it's going to ruin the situation. Like, this goes different ways for different people. It's not only love, it's work and other people, depending on how this is hitting for you. But they're saying you're going to have to draw a boundary at some point, or it's going to railroad you. It's going to run right over you, and you're not going to like it. You're going to be on the opposite side of the coin, but you're still going to be unhappy. If you want to stay happy in this situation, because it starts out really good, if you want to keep it a good situation and you want to stay happy, you're going to have to draw that boundary. And I feel like that might be hard, because the appreciation and that trust is very addicting, and just pulling more and more of it in is very addicting. But they're saying like you're gonna have to draw a boundary. Even if you get to a point where it gets to be too much, and you have to be like, all right, this has become too much for me, and you have to back it off and draw a boundary. Like, you have to push it back a bit and draw that boundary. Even if it might be an uncomfortable moment, you're gonna have to do that to make this flourish and to keep going, to be sustainable. If you don't, it's going to come to its own demise for a different reason, because you're being it's too much. You're being overrun, and it's just too much. They're saying that's the big warning here. It seems to be switching to your favor, but make sure you draw that boundary when the right time comes to make sure you can continue to like it for for the long haul. There's energies like pushing. It's intense. I'm getting an intense feeling here in the future, because there's a lot more than you're used to, and I feel like you're liking the trust, you're liking the appreciation, you're being emotionally invested in. It's what you want, but if it goes to a level where it's just too much, it's just going to short circuit the system. So they're saying make sure you draw that boundary. You'll be okay, but you have to draw that boundary. Otherwise, it's gonna run right over you. I'm gonna disconnect from it now. because that energy is just. You'll handle it when it's time. Just to know that you need to draw that boundary, you'll be okay. Good? Good. All right. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.